I'm Guusje and I'm part of the Dutch Crafts Council. I'm mainly responsible for communication and project management, but actually we are a very small team. We are only with the three of us, so we are involved in every project. So yeah, we mainly work in the Netherlands because we are a platform for crafts there, but our work is also going abroad. So the font is really weird. Never mind. What we do is we connect our heritage to the now. And for example, here, this is a typical example that I just showed to explain a bit what we do. You see the traditional wear of a little village called Staphorst. Nobody wears it anymore, but that's why it's not existing. And only one person knows how to do it. And then fashion designer Walter van Beirendonk asked us to come up with a designer or a maker who can still do this. So we match them, and that's a big part of our work, to just showcase it in a different setting. And same is actually for this scarf from Volendam. Dutch people barely know it anymore. It's mostly for tourists, but now it was on the catwalk in Paris, and we organize master classes so people can still learn it. I did it myself, and if I wear the scarf now, people are like, "Oh, that's such a cool scarf," and they don't even know that it's traditional Dutch. What we do is showcasing talented maker designers. So big part of what we do is the traditional makers mostly present themselves in their own scene, which is not online or at design fairs or whatever. So they're in their own bubble, and people cannot find them anymore, especially young people, because we don't go to, like we call it, braderie. It's, something that's not pretty cool. So we bring those makers to design fairs. Here's just an example. This one is in collaboration with the Basket Club. It was an Instagram initiative during the pandemic. And every month there was a new challenge based on an emoji. And then all kind of people from all over the world made a basket. And in the end, we presented those. So there are baskets from Japan, but also from Canada, Dutch baskets. It was really nice. And this is another exhibition where we combined traditional craftsmen to digital makers. So really it's not something that's very common. Another thing we are working on is our community of practices, because we really believe it's valuable to learn by doing. So this is an example that's called the Linen Project, and I will just show you a little video. It's Dutch, but there are English subtitles, so if you cannot read them, don't worry, it's only 1 minute. Just look at the images.
De Linen Project is een samenwerking tussen Crafts Council Nederland en Artes Masters Practice Held in Common en startte vanuit de vraag of het mogelijk is om in Nederland weer je eigen textiel te verbouwen. Daarin wordt het hele proces doorlopen, net als vroeger toen mensen het vlas voor eigen gebruik teelden. Linnen vertegenwoordigde toen een enorm kapitaal en wordt zelfs vermeld in boedelbeschrijvingen. Onze eerste teelt gebeurde in het Nederlands Openluchtmuseum en inmiddels werken we samen met 2 biologisch dynamische boeren in de omgeving van Arnhem. We haalden de eerste biologische vlasoogst sinds jaren binnen. Het vlas was van prachtige kwaliteit en is gesponnen in Polen, in een van de laatste spinnerijen in Europa. Dat is bijzonder, want de gebruikelijke weg is dat Europees vlas naar Azië gaat om daar verwerkt te worden. Sinds dit jaar zijn er 30 stewards die zich aan de Linen Project hebben verbonden om gezamenlijk een veld vlas te verbouwen. Samen doorlopen zij het hele proces om daarmee hun eigen vlas en linnenproducten te kunnen ontwikkelen. De uitdaging van de Linen Project is om komende jaren een eigen kleinschalige verwerkingslijn met een spinmachine te ontwikkelen, zodat we weer lokaal kunnen produceren. Maar ook om te innoveren. om oude kennis en ambachtelijke technieken over te dragen naar de volgende generaties. In deze videoreeks laten we zien hoe het gehele proces van zaaien, wieden, plukken, roten, binnenhalen, braken, hekelen, oprokkenen en spinnen in zijn werk gaat.
So that video showed a little bit the entire process, but it's already going on for a couple of years now. So we improved, and every year there are more stewards involved in the project because everyone can join. So there are farmers, designers, random people we don't know, like everybody is interested in it because everybody is wearing clothes or using textiles. And it's very inspiring project. Now we have our own textile, completely made in the Netherlands. The video was a little bit older, then it was still spun in Poland, but now it's fully organic Dutch textile. And what we think is really important is to share the knowledge, because it's mostly with the older generation. They do not teach several skills anymore. And at Dutch art schools, it's not very common to learn how to weave, how to do the crafts. It's mostly about design, concept thinking, which is really good because Dutch design is really known, but the craft is really missing. So what we do is we organize masterclasses in the Meet the Maker program. Sometimes it's at the studio of the maker, so you really dive in their world, but sometimes it's also at schools. Sometimes it's 1 day, 5 days, sometimes it's weeks. There's an example. This one was with metal or weaving. And what we think is important is that young people can also afford this kind of masterclasses, but it's just hard for them to get funding, or they don't even know that we exist. So most of the people who join these masterclasses, if it's not together with the school, are older than 30. So that was a big problem. That's why we started crafts class, and we thought we just start really young. So this is for primary education. I'll just show you a video. The teachers in the schools, sometimes they are very creative themselves, but a lot of time we see that they just pick the first image from Pinterest that shows a creative project. So what we did is we collaborated with a Dutch museum, and we made entire programs for them. So you get a video, and in this video we showcase the heritage, but also how it can be implemented now by a designer, and also the story about where it comes from is important, but also what you can do with it nowadays. So this video is more inspiration. The teachers mostly don't know it themselves, so that's why we made it in a nice video format. And they can download all the classes. So this is just an overview, but every class has a full paperwork, like everything is handed over. So they only have to teach it, and really easy. And we also offer classes for the teachers, because still with everything handed over, we noticed that they need some encouragement to really start with techniques. And what we were missing, the young generation and the little bit older people can come to us. younger generation that we made a program, which is 5 Saturdays, and they learn a specific technique. And this technique is taught by traditional makers and designers. So, for example, here you see Guido de Boer, and he's a graphic designer, and he's making very big murals, like sometimes houses. And we organize this in collaboration with Dutch museums for, actually in English it's the World Museum, so also with different backgrounds. So we combine this with calligraphy to really showcase that it's not only all about the Netherlands. Every technique has a long history somewhere else, and that's also really important to tell. Same for embroidery. And that's also the main challenge of this project, is to really attract this younger generation to this program. And not only age-wise, we also want to be more inclusive, really widen our audience. So that's why we introduced our advisory boards last year, and they advise us how we can communicate and make our programs more inclusive. So that's what I'm working on right now. This is our website, and Craftsglass has another website. Feel free to check it out. And you can follow us on Craftsglass Nederland, at Craftsglass Nederland on Instagram. And also the Linux project has also a separate Instagram